There was an accident in southern Oregon a couple of weeks ago where a semi-truck carrying honeybees was knocked over. And these bees escaped, naturally upset. Some of them didn't make it, but a local beekeeper decided to call up some other beekeepers to go out and try to rescue as many of the honeybees as she could. And she did a good job with that. And we actually spoke to her about this. She's looking to raise funds now to help build more homes for these bees, which pollinate so much of our food and many other things. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this. This is a conversation I had with Tristen Tartaglia, and we'll learn more about this.
Yeah, so we're out here in Eagle Point. Personally, that's where we're from, and we heard about a wreck on Highway 230. It was mile marker 9, so we decided, well, let's go take a peek at it. We had a date night, and we're weirdos, so that's what we decided to do. So we went out there, and it was just a horrific mess. And so I thought to myself, well, if it doesn't get cleaned up in the next 3 days, there's a cold snap coming. These bees are going to die. So I made a video. And then I worked all day at stacking boxes up so that maybe the bees could make the night. Because if their frames are just scattered everywhere, then they have no chance. But I thought, well, if I stack some boxes up, maybe they'll have a chance. And then I came home and I posted that video to the internet. But the mistake that I made was I didn't ask for help. I thought that just would come like naturally, but of course people didn't know what I was talking about. So I went out the next day and we worked for another 8 hours out there pulling boxes up the hill. And I came home and I'm like, where is everyone? And that's when people came. And the next day we had 50 people out there helping, daisy chaining bees out. I kept telling everybody, I want to see your headlights, or your tailgates, not your headlights, you know? And so we just loaded up nukes on random tailgates and sent them out.
Wow. And so you got all those people to mobilize and come out there. Now, let me ask you, you know, for you, are you a beekeeper? Is this something that you do professionally?
Yeah, so I'm a beekeeper and I specialize in cutouts. That's what I do all summer long. Around this general area, there are people that get bees in their house every year, and I come and I cut them out in a rehabilitation geared mind.
Wow. So somebody has a honeybee nest that shows up, you will go get them and then transport them somewhere else.
Yeah, and then I rehabilitate them because that's a pretty traumatic experience, you know? So I will go get the bees out of the house and I rehabilitate them. I also have bees at places like Relic Winery hosts our bees. And, you know, we give back the honey and such and such. It's a pretty good program. So I'm a pretty save the bees geared beekeeper to begin with. I don't, you know, it's not just backyard doinking around. I'm involved in saving the bees constantly. And so I think it just really hit home.
What is it that drew you to this career to begin with?
Oh, gosh. So I have a friend at the pool hall I worked at for 10 years prior to becoming obviously prior to becoming a beekeeper. I wasn't a beekeeper at all. And he contacted me and said, hey, my wife has finally passed away of her cancer and they want me to put a tombstone. And I don't want to do that. Would you be interested in me putting you through beekeeping classes and getting you a beehive and taking care of it for Shirley? And I said, absolutely. Give me 6 months to really look into this. And we found me a bee mentor through the Southern Oregon Beekeepers Association, and I've been a part of them ever since. I love it. The feeling of community when you go to any meeting and talk about your bees and talk to other people about their bees, it's a great thing.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing that you found it. I mean, tragic how, you know, it kind of happened, but that's, but you know, you found something that you love like that. And that really is. So talking about, you know, what happened here with the bees, can you tell us, you know, do you know how many you were able to save?
I don't. I literally told people I want to see your tailgates, not your headlights. And when you're in that situation on what I think was a 30-degree hill, like you don't think much. You're just like, oh, my thigh, oh, my knee, oh, my ankle, let's go. And you just keep going. And I think that's about how everyone felt on that hill was like, oh, my butt. You know, we were landing on our butts a lot. But kudos to all the beekeepers who came out there, even though, like, for me personally, I've gone out and cut my own wood, you know. I think that some of the beekeepers who are out there maybe had not done stuff like that before, and they were all willing to come out and take the chance of like, hey, something bad could happen, I could fall, I could twist my ankle, and they didn't care. They were like, nope, we're going to go out there and we're going to save these bees.
Can you just, for people who aren't beekeepers, just to understand, what is it that you're doing when you were up there on that hill? Like, how were you, I guess, capturing the bees?
There was no protocol for me, right? I had no experience with anything like this, and we were completely out of self-service, so I had no chance to really ask someone better than me. So I was the best chance these bees had as far as I was concerned the first day I went out there. So I decided that instead of going out and trying to find queens, because it looked like maybe these bees had just been requeened, so maybe they weren't necessarily allegiant to their queen yet. So I figured, you know what? I'm just going to pile boxes in the correct manner. And if the bees inhabit them, so be it. But the more boxes that I can get straightened up to where they can cluster and they can keep some of their heat, I think that was what I thought was the best course. So that's what I did. And we made these little trains where there was just box after box after box after box, and then lid after lid after lid after lid, so that maybe the queens would take up one box and not fight.
Wow. And well, I mean, it obviously worked, because you were able to save,
we were. So I've been trying to reach out to everybody that got some, or have them contact me in some way. We're finding that the queens are not laying eggs yet. And so either they were just mated, or they didn't get mated, or it's such a traumatic cold experience maybe that we weren't able to save as many queens as I would have liked, as far as whole colonies go. But personally for me, I only took 3 active hives from the site, and I just combined them. So I saved every individual bee in those hives, but not their genetics.
Gotcha. And can you tell us, where you are right now and what's behind you there?
So behind me, we have some bee equipment, if I can get there, just to show you guys, like, these are the boxes that they live in. And you can imagine that if they were torn apart and on the ground and gross, that they would just be, they're not something that you can really, I can't get the camera to go right, but they're not something that you can really, you can't survive in the cold. You have to, I think that's a good shot.
Yeah, that's great. We can see it right there.
Yeah, so you can see this one down here on the bottom. That would be what it would look like if it was exposed, and all of these bees were completely exposed. So versus the full hives in the back.
Gotcha. Okay, so the more, when they're stacked up like that, they're covered up and.
Yep, they have much more insulation, because bees need to stay around 90 degrees, 90 to 96. I believe their resting temperature, that temperature that they're the happiest at, is 96 degrees. So you can imagine the cold snap on Diamond Lake.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have pulled through. And it was kind of the perfect storm, because I don't know about everyone else, but it was also spring break. So at any other time, I would not have been able to help them, because my children would have, I couldn't have done it. So I felt like, for me, I was like, this is what you're to do,
This is it.
So we did it.
Everything aligned.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm.
Well, tell us about, I know that you're raising some funds as well. Can you tell us what that is and what that's going for?
So everybody that showed up and took bees has now this broken equipment that is not good for those bees. And I haven't been able to reach everybody. I don't know who needs equipment, but I have a small list started. And my intention is that I'm going to go buy the lumber and make them some bee boxes out of this stuff. Because here in Oregon, it gets cold. And so there's a drive right now with the Bee Association to maybe look into Land's hives and maybe do these other things. And so if I can get the lumber to start that, then we can start hooking the people who showed up and went up and down that mountain. We can get them some equipment to put these bees into that is much safer than the equipment we got them out of, which has holes and cracks and all this stuff.
So it would go towards, helping to save these bees and
save these bees, yeah.
And for just, kind of final question, just for everybody to I mean, I think people understand how important they are, but just to ask you,
Yeah.
how important is it to maintain, these populations of honeybees?
I mean, it's every 1/3 of your food that goes into your face
Yeah.
is pollinated by honeybees. And these trucks, they truck in 60 to 75% of the bees, I think, in the United States come to the almonds to pollinate. These bees are absolutely the apex part of this whole thing,
So
for sure,
important.
for us. So important.
Anything else important that you want to make sure that we can share with people?
Yeah, when you're responding to any incident, make sure that you have the right equipment. I know a lot of people out there took some stings. The bees were really not very gentle. They were upset. I think that they would have been gentle bees if they had not just experienced a really traumatic situation. But for myself, I had my Oz armor suit on, and it's really important to make sure that you have sting-proof stuff on when you're dealing with hot bees. So that's what I used, and I didn't get stung once.
Wow, amazing.
Hmm.
Well,
I love it.
Tristen, thank you, for joining us and for what you're doing there to save those bees,
Absolutely.
and and for just sharing this story with everybody.
Absolutely.
All right, so there we go. A great story there about the bees and Tristen saving them. So thanks everybody for joining us. This is Fox 12 Now, and we get to cover a wide range of topics like this. And we've got more coming up for you. We need to take a quick break. We're going to do that. We'll come back. We're going to talk about cheetahs. This is the animal block here for Fox 12 Now, as it turns out, for this day. But a really great story about somebody from Oregon who moved to Namibia 35 years ago to save the cheetahs and all the ties that the state and cheetahs have together. It's pretty amazing. So that's coming up and a lot more. We'll take this break. Stick right with us. This is Fox 12 Now.